Welcome back to the group chat for another week of sporting action and breakdown. I'm joined by Phil. We're in studio. How you doing, Phil?
All right.
All right.
I'm doing fantastic. See you later, Crusaders. Catch you on the flip. Blues 0-2. Very tasty.
Speaking
Highlanders
of flip,
game of the week.
was the game of the week. The Blues posting that table that you showed me last week, and they posted upside down. Good start. Even better start now for the Blues.
They're going to have to keep it flipped, I think.
Yes. Let's get right into this. A lot of action over the weekend, sporting-wise. What were your top three moments?
Number one, Highlanders. Wow. Winning with 13 players on the pitch against last year's champs is no small feat. Very impressive that they won that game. Tavatavanawai, incredible. 2 turnovers in crucial moments, then kicks a 50-22. You're just like, what the hell?
Yep. This
guy is an absolute robot. Huge midfield performance from him in particular. Quintapaya also had a good game off the bench for the Chiefs. But in terms of number 12s, I think Tavatavanawai has to be up there because that performance in particular was insane.
We'll get into this a little bit later, but is he in your fantasy?
Who, Quinn or
Tavatavanawai?
No. Because he's not a centre. He's not midfield in the fantasy. He's a back three.
Yeah.
Which I can't
justify?
Yes, because he's not racking up enough points as a back three. So
fair enough. But yeah, we'll do a little fantasy breakdown, Super Rugby and NRL now with our draft happening yesterday. But yeah, we'll get into that.
I feel like if you hit a 50-22, you should just be getting 100 points off the bat. But anyway,
there must be some points for a 50-22 on offer, surely.
I believe so. Obviously, it can't be that much. Must be like 5 points or something.
Yeah.
Chiefs blowout 49-24 over the Crusaders. 2 big wins for the Chiefs, especially off the back of beating last year's champs. Crusaders beating the Canes last week, 33-25. So huge result to get 49 points over the Crusaders.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs kicking game was just very dominant. Crazy. Did not expect that result. And then the final one, Force paying $6 to win. Bloody beautiful. 45-42 over the Brumbies. Thanks for coming.
Huge one. That's a good game as well.
It was, in terms of, I don't know, like viewership? Not viewership. In terms of watching it, especially with the Force at $6, I thoroughly enjoyed that game. High scoring.
Yep.
The only thing that outperformed that was Highlanders.
Oh yeah, that
winning
had
with a red card.
Yeah.
13 players on the, the golden oldie scrum, like winning
they had
that
a bit
game,
of drama
just
to it.
Topped it.
And it was at home, and it was obviously a tribute game to Garden Bishop as well, Connor Garden Bishop. So huge for the Highlanders. I think that does
just
take
meant
the
a
cake.
lot more. Yeah.
So your top three for the weekend, all Super Rugby based.
Indeed.
I will imagine that will change as we get into the NRL.
Yeah.
That's my take. I think your top three is going to change from all Super Rugby potentially to all NRL. And we might be NRL until...
Well, I thought it was going to be the Broncos-Bulldogs game, but that Highlanders game was just nuts.
Topped it off.
Especially the last 10 minutes. So I heavily invested.
Fair enough. Well, I've gone for a little bit of a mix, and I did throw something in there, and I wasn't sure if you were going to or not, so I did have a backup in case. But obviously, Auckland getting the broom out, clean sweep over the Wellington Phoenix, and not just only a clean sweep, but absolutely thumping the Knicks. 6-1 at home to round off a 3-0 derby extravaganza.
Yeah.
And the Knicks are absolutely nowhere.
Which is what we expected. We talked about it. We didn't expect a 6-1.
We didn't expect the Phoenix to score.
But I didn't expect the Phoenix to score. They ended up having to get a 17-year-old on the pitch to do the job for them.
Yeah,
so.
I think the youngest goal scorer for the Knicks now. But 6-1. I mean, you need the Knicks to be good to keep this derby a thing. Because if Auckland are just going to go through and then they win both games next year, or again, if they somehow miraculously the Phoenix meet them in a knockout stage, like it's just it could be 4-0 in the first season. And you need the Knicks to be good to keep this rivalry alive. Otherwise, it's not going to be much of a rivalry.
Yeah.
And it is great to see Auckland winning. And now 8 points clear at the top of the A-League table.
Very
but
nice.
Yes, the Phoenix need to step up their game a little bit.
They do.
And Auckland fans were absolutely giving it to Knicks fans and the Knicks players as well. It looked like a great atmosphere up at Mount Smart Go Media Stadium.
Yeah, did you see the tifos and the banners that they had?
No,
really. There's some good screen grabs. I took. I'll send it to you later. But yeah, just like the banners and all the
from guys in the port.
Yeah, and also just people across the crowd. Little cardboard things, little cutouts.
Oh yeah.
The banners were obviously the port's banners and tifos were really cool.
I saw them outside the team bus as the team bus was pulling up with all the flares and chanting.
It's good.
The blue flares are so good. I just wish they got the blue flares in the stadium because the flares make such a great atmosphere. And I mean, looking at some of the videos panning across the stadium, the port is absolutely bumping.
Yeah.
So good. Probably like the party
very
section
nice,
down at the Highlanders game with all the students heading down there. It's probably a little bit similar, but these guys are football mad. Where down in Dunners, it's student section.
They're Spates mad.
Yeah. So that was my one that I had a backup just in case you had it. Thankfully you didn't. So there's my one for that. Rutchin Ravindra,
very valid.
Working his way back into the Black Caps after that nasty injury. And he won the game for us, tunned up, chasing down Bangladesh score of 240-odd, gets the Black Caps into the semi-final, and Rutchin is now the fourth fastest Kiwi ever to 1,000 ODI runs. He scored 100 on debut at the ICC Cricket World Cup, 100 in his first ever ICC Champions Trophy, and he now, just at 25, has got the most ICC event tons for any Kiwi.
Wow.
So
very impressive.
That's unbelievable. And
but only fourth fastest.
Yeah, who was above him? Daryl Mitchell. He was there. I couldn't tell you who else.
Little Brendan.
No, I don't think he was up there with fastest to 1,000 ODI runs. I'll need to go back and find it, but I might be fourth equal. Did I say fourth equal?
You said fourth.
And then Glenn Phillips also got to the milestone as well. I think he's 10th. 10th on the all-time quickest to 1,000 runs for the Kiwis.
Very nice.
And then the reason I'm wearing the Santos Neymar Jr. jersey, you see Neymar's goal on the weekend?
Nope.
So he goes to take a corner. He's obviously in the away section of the crowd. They're all giving him a whole lot of shit. And he just turns around, gives them the, can't hear ya, let's give it a little bit louder. And then whips one in and scores off the corner. And he just turns around and that's what he does.
Shrugging down.
And it's one of my top moments because seeing Neymar back playing football, doing what he does best.
That's good.
Is unreal to see. And I've always had a little bit of a thing for Neymar, and he's what they say he's the prince that never wore the crown and stuff like that. Yeah, he's had his ups and downs, but he is so much fun to watch. And when he is playing good football and doing what he does best, it's unreal. So I'm wearing the Neymar Santos jersey today for that reason. I could have worn my Auckland FC jersey. I don't have a Black Caps jersey that I could have worn. So, yeah, Neymar it was.
Very nice.
Anyway, let's get into what is a second week of super Rugby. Again, lots of high-scoring games, tight ones as well, upsets. You said Highlanders take the cake for you.
100%.
The Force are up there. The Force, their jersey actually reminded me of like a vintage Hurricanes jersey.
The yellow.
The yellow with the black. Almost like a hurricane around it, like a curved chip pattern.
The Force symbol is very similar to the hurricane symbol. It's almost half a hurricane symbol, really.
Yeah. So I was watching that game, and I found myself rooting for the Force just because I was reminiscing of the vintage. The vintage games.
Oh, not the $6?
Yeah. Oh, I didn't get on them like you did.
Well, I tried.
We need to work out what that Highlanders to win, Force to win, double would have paid.
Get on the 6.
Do we know what the Highlanders were paying to beat the Blues?
No, do not.
I know it was a decent point start, like 10.5.
Around $2 maybe.
Highlanders to win?
Two something.
I reckon that would have been more like $3.50.
Really?
Well, I think, yeah, they must have been up there. We can find out and recoup.
The Blues are favoured again somehow this weekend, pushing the Canes out to $2.40. So actually, yeah,
$1.50-ish for the Blues, eh?
Yeah,
and it is in Wellington, and
indeed.
So home game for the Canes. They're on the back of a tight win against the Drua. Cam Roigard looks the absolute business, by the way.
Yep, he's collecting in fantasy as well.
Yeah, captained him this week.
Oh,
thanks for coming. Only scored, 500 and something points, and Cam Roigard had 170 of them for me.
Wow.
But yeah, that Hurricanes game, squeaky bum time over in Napier with a late winner to beat the Drua, who were 19.5-point underdogs.
Yeah, I think I got the 18.5, but man.
Yeah, closed at 19. I thought that was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like we said, there's no way that a team should be favoured by close on 20 points in this Super Rugby season.
Well, especially when you're losing to the Crusaders, 33-25.
Yeah, the Draw away from home, but I don't know. I think just the way the competition's shaping up over 2 weeks, it doesn't feel like any team should be favoured by 20. Yeah, the Reds beat Moana Pacifica by 20 on the dot, 56-36.
Yeah.
But to be favoured, like...
It drew a... oh, no, that was a Moana Pacifica game, wasn't it?
Things go the other way for Moana Pacifica, and they're right in there in a one-score game.
Yeah.
So to say that was a 20-point loss probably doesn't tell the full story.
Yeah, and that Drua team had 15 changes for that week?
Yeah.
So you can start to see why, but still, 20 points, 19.5, very gracious.
And I think there were a couple Fijian fans in the crowd in Napier as well. There's a little section, and it almost felt like a little slice of a Drua home game in there. And you know what the Drua are like at home, because they just get up for that like nothing else. For me, Finn Hurley for the Highlanders, stud. God damn, that was sick. Watching him play, he's 21, playing at fullback.
Yeah.
His individual brilliance, the kick over the top, kick and chase, score the try, got his second.
It's fantastic.
Unreal.
Well, he had was it him that also had a little tap in from the sideline?
What, during the... Yeah. I think it's just nice to see the young players. Like, I think there's the majority of that Highlanders team is 23.
Well,
23 or under.
Yeah.
And Jamie Joseph is just running an absolute tight ship. You can see what it means for the players as well.
Yeah, they put in a shift. They worked overtime.
And what I was almost
20 minutes of that game
more impressed with was how they milked the clock at the end of the game. Clinical stuff, really. You know, the game's all been fast-paced, and it's all about speeding it up, but they did exactly what they needed to. 13 men on the field. They have a lead. Not only did they not allow the Blues to score in that last period, they scored themselves.
Crucial turnovers, score, yep.
But then
penalty as well.
They milked the clock so well.
Yeah.
Like goal kicking, it was, or I'll line it up, when he started on the shot clock. Oh, now, okay. Cool.
Right in front.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. 20. You got 20 seconds. Yep. Sweet. Thank you. Cool. Sweet. Yeah, 10 seconds. Yeah, cool. Sweet. Thank you. And then knocks it over. And it's like, just genius. They could have probably kicked to the corner, but then there's now this time limit on scrum and line out resets. So, yeah, I was just pretty impressed with the Highlanders, and it's good to see.
Yeah. Blues will be kicking themselves. They had a couple line outs inside that 22 that actually just straight up lost.
Yeah.
Highlanders started contesting and then started winning. So, yeah, very impressive.
I actually wouldn't have minded a Blues score off one of those lineouts because I did have Ricky Riccatelli in my team. He did score. Do you have your fantasy team? How'd you go this week? I'm going to pull mine up real quick and have a look.
Round 2, 609.
609.
Which is the season high for me.
It's pretty good.
I did captain McKenzie this time. I didn't want to miss out. Brought in a nice 96 points.
Is that with the captaincy?
Indeed.
Ooh,
So Roigard obviously would have got more.
Yeah.
But still very solid. Standouts, Havili 51, Tool for the Brumbies. Scoring some tries using his nice acceleration. getting 57. Tizano always putting in a shift for me, 51. So we're going nicely. And obviously Roigard, 85, just flat out.
Yeah.
Rieko Ioane.
Yeah, he's gone from my team this week,
I gave him a second week of grace, and I'm not happy. He's gone.
Yeah, I've already booted him, actually.
Yeah.
I've
booted him for a bench player, funnily enough, in Quinn Tupaia, because
Same.
I can't not have him in my team, it would seem.
Same. Because Quinn Tupaia came off the bench from an injury, right? But he actually played most of the game.
Correct. Yeah, I think he came on in like 20th minute or something. Came on very early.
So what are the Chiefs going to do with their lineup? Because against the Crusaders, it was pretty tight up until that 50th minute mark. And then they just bring on a whole bunch of All Black talent, Cortez, Ratama, Tupoivai, and it's just everyone coming on. And then they just blitz the Crusaders.
Yeah.
Is that something, do you reckon that's tactical with what they're doing, is just grinding out the first 40, 50 minutes of the game and then inject all this talent and they just run away with it?
Cortez off the bench as well. Potentially. There's also, what's that rule around having to rest All Blacks squad?
Yeah, the load management stuff.
I wonder if that's, part of it as well. They start on the bench and then just come on, get those games out the way early, so when it comes to the nitty-gritty at the end of the season, they're clear. I don't know the full T's and C's about that rule set from NZRU, but
that's an interesting one, though, because it's worked 2 games in a row.
Yeah.
And you can tell in the last 20 minutes where we've always talked, that's where the ABs are a level above every other team, or had been in the past, and that's where they win their games. Seems to be what the Chiefs are doing. And
always half-time and full-time, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So tight first half, and I was happy about it because I had Chiefs to win 1-12. Up until that 50th minute mark, I thought I was sitting pretty well, and then they've just run away with it. And I am not going to be with the Crusaders anymore at all. Screw them.
We'll see
but yeah, impressive stuff from the Chiefs with how they're tactically playing that game.
Yeah,
it does make Cortez probably not a viable fantasy option, though. Unfortunately,
well, he'll get the start eventually, I think.
Yeah, I wonder if they're like playing him into that role, because obviously Roigard is going to hopefully start 9 for the ABs, run around for a good 50, 60 minutes. I wonder if it's been comms come down from higher ups to say, get Cortez into this impact 20, 30-minute player at the end of the game.
There's Xavier Rose doing well at the moment as well, scoring some tries, so it's working.
Yeah, my fantasy team, I captained Roigard, which was nice, 170 points. But apart from that, I didn't have a whole lot going on. Luke Jacobson, 2 points. Patrick Tuipulotu, 9 points. Ricky Riccitelli did have me 47, though, which was nice. Cullen Grace, 34. I've had to ship out a couple Crusaders this week because they're on a bye. I think they're on the bye. So, yeah, Enrico Ioane is gone. I think Mark Talia is gone as well from my team. And I've thrown in Hurley.
Very nice.
Because they're up against Moana Pacifica. Moana Pacifica have given up 100-plus points in 2 games. So the Highlanders can make the most of that, and Hurley can rack up the points. I actually debated captaining him maybe. But we will see. NRL.
Yes, sir.
The antics in Vegas have already started with the Raiders and a weapon in an elevator.
What?
The inflatable baseball bat. You seen that?
No.
So Hudson Young and Smithies, they had I think they labelled it as a R&R night, so that the players were allowed to go out, do what they wanted. Seems like a few of the players had gone out on the town. They got back to the hotel, and there was an error off the hotel. Some of the players were locked out of their rooms.
Yep.
Hudson Young and Smithies get into a bit of an altercation in the elevator. Security had to come break them up because they thought there was a weapon involved. The weapon turned out to be an inflatable baseball bat that one of the boys had picked up somewhere on the night out. But they've had to come out this morning and apologize and take all that media. Hudson Young was asked, why do you think you should still be allowed in Vegas? As in, like, should the team send you home?
It's an inflatable baseball bat?
And he goes, I don't know, was his answer. But the antics have already started.
Really?
Yeah.
It sounds like a play fight in the elevator to me. I don't know.
Yeah, they've come out and said...
I mean, unless they broke a bunch of shit, then see you later. But it doesn't sound like it.
Nah, I think they just got into like a almost, what is it, an animated argument.
Did you see any footage?
No, I haven't. I was scouring Twitter. All I saw was their apologies and stuff, saying they're best of mates. Their partners are heading over to America together at the moment. They've made up. They've apologized to each other. There's no hard feelings. Yeah. They've apologized to the club, the hotel staff, the NRL as a whole, and just want to move on with it. But I think they're looking at some sort of punishment when they get back. Which I don't like the sound of because I drafted Hudson Young yesterday. It'll be a fine and a slap on the wrist, mate. You're right. Yeah, hopefully. Anyway, we're in Vegas. The Wars.
We're not.
No.
We're here.
It seems like everyone's in Vegas. Maybe we should, at this point in the pod, green screen Vegas.
Look, the Sphere. We're here in Vegas.
The Sphere. Oh, there's the F1 going around.
Oh, wow. At this time of year.
Oh, it is Allegiant Stadium.
And UFC as well on Tuesday.
It's all going in Vegas. Shit, you got to get here.
Wow, what a week.
No, I wish we were in Vegas, but the Wars are in Vegas, playing the Raiders, Panthers, Sharks to kick off the season. How excited are you?
I am very excited. I love the rugby league, and good to see the Warriors in Vegas as well, I think. Even better that it's against the Raiders, because I think they are tipped to be quite far down the table. And we had, an okay-ish preseason.
Yep.
Nothing out the gate.
We finished third on the preseason ladder, I think.
Indeed.
See what we're paying to beat the Raiders right now.
But the draw with the Sharks was a little bit of a concerning one for me. But our handling in the second game was a lot better. So I'm very excited. Just NRL in general, doing the draft yesterday.
Yep.
I love the draft.
Yeah, the draft's good. A little snake draft. Would have got a 12-man league here.
I'm very much looking forward to yelling at the bunker a lot this season.
Well, I noticed what you called your team, actually. Bunker said no?
Said no.
Yeah.
Let us down before. They'll let us down again. It's inevitable.
So the Warriors are $1.60 favourites against the Raiders in Vegas, which is good to see.
Yeah.
Good to see.
Yeah.
Oh, looking at that record, though, the last five, because we've got that, it shows you the last five results. The Warriors loss, win.
In round one.
Wow. I think that's how they finished the season last year.
Okay.
And then the Raiders loss, win. Obviously, last season, point spread at 3.5.
The positive, although not exactly the same team, we drew 12-12 with the Sharks. They got pumped 40-10. So, you can't take a lot out of the preseason, but you can take something.
Yep. Well, you got to take something. What are you most looking forward to, and what have you got? Have you have an opinion on anything for this season that you feel like might be a little bit unpopular?
Oh, 100%.
If there's a few, fire them out.
There's always a new point of emphasis at the start of every season. It's always something for the referees to focus on. And this preseason, it was correct play of the ball.
Yeah, at the ruck,
which means players now have to make a genuine attempt to play the ball with their feet, not just roll it through the legs. Or I think, what is it? It's a handover of possession.
Yeah, I think it is, Penalty, handover possession.
So we saw this quite a bit in the Sharks game. I think we got pinged 3 times for it. Sharks got pinged once. So Shark Park had a new person to adore in the form of Liam Kennedy, who was the ref that game. That's a rule for me that's very unpopular. I don't know if it's an unpopular opinion.
Just an unpopular
rule for me, because like a set reset, it is unbelievably inconsistent.
Yeah.
And it is so discretionary that it's almost a guarantee that 100% it's only going to be called like 50% of the time. I am so certain.
Run the numbers.
I am so certain of that. Because they were talking about it's up to the ref to decide whether it's a genuine attempt or not. And you go, what?
But what makes a genuine attempt?
Have
if the foot touches the ball,
it has to be the foot touching the ball and you've rolled it back.
That's got to be it. If there's daylight, or if they've just rolled it, no foot placement on the ball, That's got to be the rule. What is a genuine attempt and up to the referee's
it's a genuine
discretion,
attempt to use their foot when playing the ball.
So you can roll it, act like you're scraping away at something on the ground.
Well, this is what I'm not so confident on.
I don't like it.
Because it relies on the ref or the linesman to pick it up, to be focusing on that every play.
Yeah.
For the whole game.
Yeah.
And between refs, we know how inconsistent said refs have been in a general sense. How consistent can you be with such a
vague kind of ruling?
Discretionate rule. And that's not the problem that the refs, well, we're just applying the rule book. It's like you have to do that every time, and you have to stick with it for the whole season.
It just feels like it's penalising something so small and stupid in the game, and it's going to slow it down.
Yeah.
And it's going to be hard to make consistent calls. So you might as well just forget about it.
Yeah.
Why bother calling it?
Well, I think it should be picked up, but when you have a heavy focus on it, supposedly, I feel like what's going to happen, it's going to be a game-defining or like season-ending moment for one team, and everyone's going to blast it. And there's also chat that the NRL has not ruled out the fact that they could use the bunker for that ruling. So, lo and behold, Dewar score a game-winning try, and what gets pulled up? The ball roll.
So they go back 3 or 4 tackles and check the ball roll and make sure it was played correctly every single single ruck.
Kevin Walters says, I'm for it. And he says, it's pretty easy to police. The touchies are all for it. And they're all over it. I don't know. I would disagree. It's not easy to police in an 80-minute game. And there will be times, because it's human error. It's a human error from the player, and it's a human error that the ref is going to switch off for a split second, not notice it.
Yeah. You'd hope they're locked in for the full 80 minutes. But there's going to be times where...
Has every offside been called? No. Has every square marker been called? No.
If you see, as a player, if you see someone incorrectly play the ball and haven't made a genuine attempt in your eyes, the referee hasn't called it, can you captains challenge it?
No, I don't think so.
You should be able to.
The referee hasn't made the call, so what can you challenge?
Just time out.
Excuse me, ref.
He did not play the ball
Please
properly.
Stop the game.
Let's go up to the bunker that you all love so much, and let's get a read on this and give us the ball because he didn't play it properly.
Yeah. Cooper Cronk also said that he likes it as long as the refs are consistent, which is a huge problem.
It's a massive if,
because we know they aren't in general. So have such an emphasis on this rule and to be consistent throughout the whole season, I don't see it happening, and I think this potentially ruins some games for some teams. That's all I'll say.
All right. Let's go and have a look at our fantasy draft. So yesterday, it was decided by a horse race in Houston, America.
Oh, brother.
You ended up... I think I had the worst horse in the race, paying 41s. What was your horse paying to win?
7.
7s? And so our draft order was based on the finishing order of the horses in that race. I ended up with the 9th pick. You ended up with the 7th pick?
Yep.
And I took Tedesco first.
Which is terrible, by the way, to end up in the middle. I know you're not too fussed about it.
I wasn't too worried.
I think it's a death sentence for the season, but that's my opinion.
I thought because the 30 seconds to make your pick, it's going to fly by. If you're around the double mark, you could probably set the tone, but shit, you got to make your decisions quick.
But you should be, prepared and set up. You should have your plan A, your plan B, your plan C.
You'd have plan
100%. You want those double picks, because what ends up happening, you're stuck in the middle and you're waiting for 10 rounds for your second pick instead of 3? So I don't know. I would love to be on the outer edges in a ladder formation.
I think obviously you'd rather be at the top, because then you get in the likes of Cleary, Hines, Haas, Isaiah Yo. Did AFB go in the top 5?
He did.
Yeah, so even Hughes.
Drum Hughes gone.
Yeah.
Basically.
Cherry Evans was gone by the time I had my pick. I don't know who picked him up, but he was gone. So I went to Tedesco. Who'd you have with your first pick?
Damien Cook. Who
yes.
Effectively, because picking the good half option went out the window.
Yeah, that's
pretty much straight away. So Damien Cook has effectively become my 60-point half for the season in at hooker.
Nice.
Which I'm happy with. I'm stoked to at least get him in the mix.
So we'll probably check in on these each week and just see how we're going. But last year, we had the first and second picks. I took Cleary, you had Hines. I absolutely stunk up the gaff. Injuries did not play in my favour. I think I came dead last.
Yep.
I think I'm going to make a playoff run this year. I like the look of my team.
That's good. Is it because you don't have Hines or Cleary who were injured for a whole half a season?
But I did like the look of my team last year, and it stunk. But I think you just got to be more active on the injury list, picking up players. So I'm looking. I think a top 6 finish. Looking at my team. Do you have? Where do you think you're coming in?
Well, I had the strat of a strong mid, a strong center, and a decent edge, and I've pretty much got that.
Yeah.
The only area I'm kind of falling flat at the moment is the halves, which I expected. So I'm really not hoping for injuries.
Yeah.
But it's on the assumption that those big hitters, there's a chance there's some reoccurring injuries.
And then you'll be able to pick up someone from the restricted free agency list that kind of fills those spots. Because there's not a lot of depth in those halves or hooker positions. So if someone does go down, you got to be quick to get the player that's probably going to fill their spot.
Decent replacement. Yeah.
They'll pick up, not to the points to the extent, but they'll take on a lot of their role. And you found that last year with a lot of players.
Yeah, I had Hines and Fogarty last year, and they both got injured. So
I was thinking
my big
of
hitters
Fogarty up this year, and then I thought back to your experience with him last year, and I left it alone.
It's tough.
Okay. Premier League quickly into Champions League. I think
Jeepers, we can skip over the Prem. Jeepers.
My segue was Arsenal losing to the Hammers 1-0 at home. Season done, dusted over. Let's pay out Liverpool right now and focus on the Champions League. So if you don't want to talk about Premier League, I'm happy to not talk about the Premier League.
Yeah.
You had a draw. You took a point.
Thank God we took a point. Man, I'm so grateful. Considering we were 2-0 down, yes.
Yeah.
I did stop watching at halftime, so great to look at the result and be like, we actually got a point out of that somehow.
I actually was really hoping Everton would win that one because after hitting my last week's Super Rugby multi, and I told a lot of people about it.
Oh, no.
Everyone wanted to join on it again, and obviously it lost in the first leg. And lots of my mates in the group chat are United supporters, and I said, fellas, if you wanted a best bet, you should have just asked for a best bet. It's Everton to beat United at $2.45.
Yeah.
And then when I saw that they were up 2-0 at the half, I was like, yo, everyone, shut up. This is the best bet. And then 2-2.
Yeah. Great free kick from Fernandes, actually. And there's got to be a discussion at some point about Fernandes. And if he was in another team, how highly regarded he would be because he's been unbelievably consistent for us.
Yeah.
Bad in games, but he's genuinely been the difference for us getting a point or 3 or not a lot of the time.
The difference of being instead of 15.
And hitting the double figures in goals and assists consistently every season since he's joined us.
Yeah.
He's unbelievably influential.
And, yes, a lot about the Kevin De Bruyne fall off. I think he's sort of done at City this year. He's not playing the big games anymore. He's still a big game player, but he's just
crazy.
It does feel like a very quick fall from
Was it injuries? I feel like last year he was still very, very good.
Yeah, but he did have the injury last year. But
the De Bruyne Haaland link up last year was top notch.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just
so maybe it was injury.
But yeah, Slot has Liverpool running away with it. Salah is putting in an unbelievable season.
Yep.
I saw a comparison between him and Hazard. And the comparison is over. It's got to be over. The stat was Mo Salah has scored and assisted in more games this season, 11, than Hazard did his entire career in the Premier League of 10.
Wow.
And there's people comparing them, and nah, there's no way.
No.
He's putting in a Ballon d'Or performance, Salah, this season, and it's the reason why Liverpool are going to win. But Champions League is where my focus is at. Your focus on Europa League, potentially, maybe?
I guess so. But I wouldn't say you give up on the title. I don't think that's the right.
I think the pressure's more on us now than it is on Liverpool, where before going into this weekend, there's probably a slight bit more pressure on Liverpool than there was on Arsenal.
Yeah.
Because now we have to be perfect and hope Liverpool screw up somewhere.
You can't be losing to West Ham.
No, that sucks. Let's move on from that then. Group chat question of the week to finish off.
Ooh.
Should Super Rugby, obviously it's been great to start the season, Should Super Rugby do something like the NRL are doing and send a couple teams over to Vegas or to somewhere else in the world to reach a global audience and get this massive buy-in and chat about what they're doing? Because it's worked for the NRL so far. There is so much chat and hype about it. Do the Super Rugby do something similar?
I don't know that it works in the same way. And has there been an equal amount of hype? I don't think the crowd
with Super Rugby?
Well, with NRL, the crowd attendance last year was anything spectacular. And
maybe it's just a lot of hype from looking from the outside.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good to, educate the Americans on other sports that are happening around the world. Obviously, they already have their own rugby league, rugby union league, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the MLR.
Correct. Super Rugby, we've already had the South Africans in.
Yep.
It's already in Australia. It's already in the UK. NRL, Super League equivalent, sure. I just think rugby union isn't as niche as NRL.
Yeah, okay.
You don't have the same wow factor of like, oh, wow, big hit. This is so like crazy different sport. People already know the Rugby World Cup is massive and not on the same level as a Rugby League World Cup, which no one really cares about.
Yeah.
What's good to see is that the Super Rugby attendance locally is looking really good and the competition is looking really good. Whereas last year, we were talking about how the NPC was leagues ahead of the Super Rugby season because it was so boring.
Yeah.
And how terrible Super Rugby Pacific was.
Yeah.
But now we're in a space like, yes, 2 weeks in, but I was putting rugby union games ahead of rugby league games.
Pre-season, you'd hope so, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, even with that fully fledged Broncos Bulldogs team, I was like, I was looking forward to that. I ended up watching like Highlanders instead because it was just that much better.
I wonder if then you don't do a kick off the season in, say, Vegas or Ireland. Ireland would be sick. They love to party as well.
You got All Blacks going to Chicago anyway.
Yeah, to play
That's
Ireland.
a bigger draw.
Yeah, true. I wonder if you then do a magic round of sorts. Or maybe you do, imagine a round in Fiji. Everyone plays in Fiji for one round because it's close enough for Aussies to get over there, close enough for Kiwis to get over there.
During a typhoon or a tsunami or something.
Yeah, it would be perfect. That could be an option too. I think it would be cool for them to do something, but maybe get through this season if it pops off the way it's popping off already, and then does it again next season. Then you could look at maybe expanding and doing something. Maybe you do a magic round of sorts.
Don't they normally do a magic round anyway? Didn't they do one last year?
I don't know. See, I couldn't tell you because it wasn't really relevant last year.
No, I feel like they do.
I don't know. I don't know.
But what they should definitely do is bring State of Origin Game 2 to New Zealand.
Neutral venue.
Auckland.
It would have to be Eden Park. That would sell out so quickly.
Mount Smart.
Nah, you need more. Because Mount Smart only holds, 25?
I would want more money. I think the better experience would be at Mount Smart.
Mount Smart would be a much better experience for sure.
Okay, well then sure. Yeah, Eden Park.
But Eden Park to get 50,000 plus there.
Yeah, 100% guaranteed.
Yeah.
Sky Stadium?
No,
thanks.
Although it'd be easier for us to go.
Yeah, easier for us. But in terms of the experience.
All right. Well, we'll leave it there. Phil, you won't be joining us on Thursday.
Nope.
You are heading across the ditch. Are you going to see the round one NRL?
Yes, I'm actually going to Vegas. Just haven't told you yet.
Yeah, wow. No, you are ditching me, though.
I am. But you have a fantastic replacement. Far better.
Wow. I'm gonna have to compare the league knowledge, actually.
Still be sitting in my bets, though. He's not stealing my 40.
Yes.
20. That's not happening.
Because you do have a healthy lead in that and you wouldn't want.
Yes.
So we've got Adam Blair joining on Thursday to replace Phil. Phil, you are still going to send your picks in because you don't want Adam Blair ruining your 300.
Well, I don't think he would ruin it. I just need to keep this gap.
We might see if we can get Adam in on it.
Yeah.
And see he.
Well, we should definitely have some first round picks for sure.
Yeah. But enjoy your time in Oz.
Thank you.
You'll be back in a week or so's time. And I'll be back in the studio with Adam Blair on Thursday for a look at the weekend.
Is he going to be in studio?
No, he's zooming in. I believe Adam will be in Aussie somewhere.
So very cool.
Yep. Make sure you tune into that. Thanks for listening today, and we will catch you later in the week.
See ya.